is freedom of speech? Who regulates it? Where does it end and crime begin? The Durov case raises many questions, and perhaps the main systemic political one is the huge gap between the words and actions of the guardians of democracy. This is Russia. The year is 2018. Roskomnadzor started talking about blocking the messenger in the country. The special services demand the encryption keys from the platform because since 2014, Telegram has been actively used by terrorists, including from the Islamic State, for airplanes fly out of windows in support of freedom of speech. The OSCE, European officials, and the West stand united against and for Telegram as a platform for freedom of speech in Russia. The fate of a girl who loves to compare events. 6 years later, Durov's plane, along with his freedom of speech, lands in Paris, reportedly at Macron's personal invitation. A few minutes before landing, French justice issues an arrest warrant for Durov. The French pack the founder of Telegram under white gloves, demanding encryption keys from him. The result is charges on 6 counts. Among them is the refusal to provide the necessary documents for intercepting information in Telegram at the request of French authorities. They also blame him for the fact that distributors of child pornography, drug dealers, and organized fraud groups used the Telegram messenger in their criminal activities. That is, except for point 2, Durov himself did not participate in these crimes. However, let's compare. Here's a post from a European resource that is indecent to name in polite society. In 2018, a memo for those who are not ready to put up with censorship. In 2020, in the fourth, Telegram became a place of flourishing violence and extremism. Among other things, French journalists emphasized that the Telegram platform has become a place for spreading fake news. Seriously? So when Belarus or Russia talked about it, it was an infringement on freedom of speech. And now?
In the West today, people live under the illusion of freedom. They understand that within certain boundaries, they are allowed to live, work, create something, destroy something, and so on. But as soon as they create a product that interests the state, whether it's industry, media, or information technology, this product can very quickly be taken over by a Western country that wants its special services to have control over these materials, companies, and so on. Therefore, yes, today the West, no matter how much it mocks democracy in other countries, is the first champion of the democratic principles of the United States itself. And today, speaking about the collective West in Europe and the United States, it must be said that they and their allies have long forgotten the constitutional foundations on which that democracy should stand.
When it comes to freedom of speech in the West, this freedom is very nominal and does not concern freedom from Western special services. How can such a source of information be left independent and uncontrolled? That's one, and the source of spreading this information, two.
Behind the scenes, everyone says that. This operation was planned not only by France, but also by other Western special services. After all, we all remember that the main claims against Telegram initially came from the US Securities and Exchange Commission. And before that, Durov was very actively offered cooperation by the FBI and CIA to disclose certain things related to intelligence.
After Durov's arrest, Zuckerberg, the founder of Meta or the former Facebook and Instagram, unexpectedly began to give up his accomplices. Not that he revealed a secret, but rather confessed. Or the creator of Meta switched sides, changed his stance ahead of the US presidential elections. Zuckerberg admitted that the Biden administration censored content on his social networks. It was required to censor messages about COVID-19 and also to remove inconvenient details about the contents of Biden's son Hunter's laptop. Specifically, his connections with the Ukrainian corporation Burisma, as well as evidence of the US president's son's involvement in criminal activity. So what will be the answer to the question, is there freedom of speech in the West? Or does speech exist within strict boundaries and under the control of democratic governments, which determine who can say what? And the final touch. Pavel Durov is a libertarian, a prominent representative of the community. A community of people who believe that it is possible to do without the state as such, placing the freedom of each individual above any whole, and therefore society. He fled Russia, obtained French citizenship, supposedly free from censorship. And no, of course, the West is not becoming a totalitarian regime. It always was. We just need to clearly understand what Western freedom is. It's when you can freely spread information and ideas that are destructive to the countries targeted. Not for themselves, but for others. Ekaterina Tikhomarova, Mikhail Tikhonov on the main broadcast.